pretty difficult, and it's still gonna have like RNG issues. But this one, if you know what you're going into, like going into the chapter, and you know how to manage your stamina, it's not that bad. But there are weird things that happen. Like you're gonna have chapters where you're gonna have people with no equipment, and then there's a bunch of soldiers. And how that works is, and why that's a bad thing is because the capture mechanic. If you have no weapon on you, you'll just get captured and kidnapped. Yeah, and that too, someone said, the problem is you must know what will happen in future chapters. Alright, so this is a pretty standard chapter. We have bandits here, and they're attacking, and we need to do something about that.
Kind of the quintessential RPG start here.
Yeah, I think he reset because I think he's trying to get a movement bonus. Let me see if that's what he's going. Yep, he just got it right now. So that's a weird mechanic that's not in like other Fire Emblem games. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I mean, from what I've seen, it seems pretty simple. You move, and then you have like a percentage chance to move again, which is pretty nice, but it's random. So I don't know if there's a way to abuse that, but it is neat. I would like to see that return in a future Fire Emblem game.
And you said he was able to get this by restarting?
I think he went for it at first, and then he just reset when he didn't get it. I'm not sure if that's like manipulation. I watched a couple of runs, and I've never seen them try and go for it there. What I would do in an LTC run is pretty much reset if I didn't get it, though. That's probably what he did. Yeah, this game does have a ton of hidden mechanics. I love this game. So we just got introduced to our first archer, and then we have Marty, and I forgot the name of the other axe user, but Marty is really bad. I don't think he'll be using him at all. And he just got a special axe for a character. It's a personal weapon, I believe.
Now, quick question for you. What does LTC run stand for?
Learn low turn count. So basically just going for the lowest turn count possible on each chapter. The strats for that will be a little bit different because when you're doing LTC, you're essentially just doing ILs.
Gotcha.
You're not running a timer or anything, so it's nice. Also, I totally forgot to mention our female sword master right there that's using the fire sword is our Jigen of the game, or Jagen, however you want to pronounce it. So that's an archetype in the series, and basically what that archetype is Jagens are the strong, overpowered unit in the beginning of the game, but as the game moves on, sometimes they can kind of slow down and fall off, but for the most part, they're still pretty good. They have some uses because of their weapon rank, and sometimes they're on horse units or horses, so they move faster. This is the first Jigen that's a sword master. They're usually cavalier units, so it's pretty neat. Oh yeah, and I apologize. Jigen comes from basically what I was talking about, just overpowered unit that you get at the start of the game, and as we progress, they slowly fall off. But the name Jigen comes from Fire Emblem 1, and that's Marth's retainer. There's a ton of archetypes in the series, and it's going to be hard to point them all out because they're a little bit unique.
Now, in terms of speedrunning this game, in some earlier RPGs that we saw, Clear Tonic had told us that usually what you're going to see in something like this would be considered a glitchless category. Would you say that's true for this game here too?
Yeah, there's not too many glitches in this game, to be honest. It's just trying to hope the mechanics work in your favor. I think this is the most popular Fire Emblem game to speedrun, though, in Japan anyways. And in America, it's for sure Fire Emblem 7 and Sacred Stones. Now we have our first Fog of War map. So I forgot to explain that there are bonus chapters in this game, and they're called Gaiden chapters. And Gaiden chapters are just extra chapters added on, and they are unlocked if you meet a special requirement. The special requirement for that chapter was complete chapter 2 with all the villages intact. So basically, none of the brigands got to the villages. Every village was saved. Oh yeah, and someone brought up this healing staffs can miss, and also your healing items can miss too. And you can heal twice, which is something that is not used in a Fire Emblem game again. I'm glad the missing part is gone as well. This game is just brutal. So why he went to this chapter is he's trying to recruit a thief by the name of Lifus. Thieves are really useful in this game, as they are in most Fire Emblem games. And they can actually fight in this game, which is nice. Because most thieves are pretty frail. Yes, Fire Emblem Gaiden does let you heal twice.
I must apologize if I'm going in and out a little bit here. I'm just having a little bit of internet issues on my end, and I'm just working on fixing it.
No problem. What I'm curious about in this run is if he's going to kill off Olwen. But I guess we'll get to that when we get there. Yeah, how escape maps work in this game is everybody on the map needs to escape. If you just escape with your lord first, then everybody gets kidnapped, and you won't be able to save them till chapter 21X. Which at that point you probably won't need them anymore.
So in this run, if some of the lords do get kidnapped, will he try to save them in chapter 21, or is he just going to try to skip over it?
He'll most likely just skip over it if any unit gets captured. I'm
Gotcha.
not sure. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Is the permadeath a mechanic in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
Permadeath is a mechanic in every Fire Emblem game. The casual mode got added in Fire Emblem 12, which is a game that never saw America, unfortunately. Okay, so he killed off Shiva. Shiva is a recruitable unit and captured Lifis. So some units in this game, in order to get them to join your army, you have to capture them. So this is our first castle chapter. I forgot to mention the mechanic dismounting. So you'll have units that are riding horses, riding Pegasus Sisters, oh boy, and riding wyverns, and they can dismount off of them, and they have to when they enter buildings. This does take a hit to their stats, and also forces them to use swords. So, for example, Finn, he can only use lances while he's mounted, but when he's dismounted, he'll be forced to using swords. And same for any other unit that's like Finn. Yes, Pegasi. I really like this mechanic. I want to see it return to Fire Emblem series. I don't know how newer fans feel about it. What I like about it is it forces you to use different weapons, and me personally, I really like Pegasus units. And there are some chapters where there's just like a bunch of archers or things of that nature and wind magic, and it's just like you don't really want to deploy that there, but with dismounting you can. And he just missed a heal. Yikes. Got the staff level up though. So yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. You can't miss heals in this game. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but it's a thing.
So you can go to heal yourself, and it'll be like an attack roll, and it will miss, basically.
Yes. And it works for the enemies too, because I remember when I was streaming this game recently, I had a boss that tried to heal himself and he missed it, and I just started laughing. Okay, so he's entered the building. I'm not sure if he's going to save those children. I know in Fire Emblem 4, when you save NPC units, you get an instant level up. One of his units got captured right now. Okay, it looks like he is going to save the children. So, what his objective is in this chapter is he's going to save these children and bring them back to the towns on the bottom right of the map, and he gets items for it. I believe it unlocks a guided chapter. Let me check that out. Yes, it does.
Are the guided chapters crucial to beating this run?
Not necessarily, but they do. Oh wow, I missed another heal. They do give you some pretty good items. So it's definitely worth it. Oh, he's one of the children as bait? That's interesting. Oh yeah, so these games, when I say these games, I mean Fire Emblem 4 and Fire Emblem 5 are very, very dark games. A lot of people want these games localized or remade, and I feel like they'd have to change up the story a little bit. I'm not sure how people feel about Child Hunts in 2017. Might be okay with it. Not sure. I do agree. Dark games are good. Like I really love the stories of Fire Emblem 4 and Fire Emblem 5. Yeah, it seems the heal miss is on purpose to grind for EXP. Yes, this game has child hunt, so the big thing about this game is they're fighting against oh, you have to redo the entire chapter. I guess he didn't get what he wanted. You're fighting against a cult that's trying to resurrect a dark god. You know, typical fantasy RPG trope. Dark god is bad, trying to resurrect him. And to do that, they need to kidnap children and sacrifice them.
Is your character trying to kidnap children and sacrifice them, or are the
No.
bad guys?
The bad guys. We're trying
Okay.
to save the children.
Gotcha.
Leaf is a warrior of light, even as a personal weapon. That's light sword too. I'm not sure when we're gonna be able to see that, but he does have it. Yeah, pretty much what people were saying in the chat about Fire Emblem 4 really makes me curious how they would do a remake, because it just has so much like dark themes that I don't think that people would be okay with in 2017.
And on top of that, Nintendo of America has been pretty strict about, what comes through.
Correct.
How far behind is our commentary? If anything, just a couple seconds.
Yeah, that could be a good excuse, but will Nintendo be okay with that? I think if there's demand for it, they have to remake it, right?
I mean, there's definitely demand for an open world Pokemon game.
True. Yes, there is fan translations for every. Well, actually, the fan translation for Fire Emblem 5, Thracia, is really bad. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you plan to play it, you should just get a script and just look back at it, because the translation is really bad. And it's funny because uh, a translation for the for Fire Emblem Fates, which is one of the newer Fire Emblem games, has a pretty solid translation, Japanese translation, even though that game came to America. And it got one before this game did. So that's concerning. Oh, a new translation was released this month? That's nice.
Mido, I'm going to be right back here. I'm going to try one more thing to try to boost my internet a little bit.
All
It's
right,
getting
no
better.
problem. some old mechanics in the Fire Emblem series I don't want to come back. I know people are going to call me a casual, but I'm not a fan of weapon weight. I get it. It makes sense. I don't mind it, but I don't like it. Players have sunglasses because they're just, you know, what's wrong with having sunglasses on at, what is it? What time is it in Japan? 2 a.m.? Yeah, the hill misses are on purpose. I don't know how he managed to do that. I guess oh wait, he's at full health. That explains it. But yes, the hill misses are on purpose. He's just grinding EXP at this point. I'm not sure if he's grinding EXP to level up his character or to grind the weapon rank. I assume it'd be the weapon rank because there is a lot of really cool staves that you can get later on. Also forgot to mention that unit. That's Safi, but we call her Staffy because she just used all the staves in the game, and that's her main use. I'm a strong believer of hashtag Shadow Dragon did nothing wrong, but I'm also a Marth fanboy, so... I mean, the only thing Shadow Dragon did wrong was made the game look ugly. But I think that's more so the DS's fault. So it looks like he's not trying to go to the Gaiden chapter. He just got one item and he abused the children to block the enemy units. So what's happening right now is Leaf is about to get kidnapped, and they're all talking about how they're going to save him later. All right, so now we're in jail, and then we're about to be saved by these 3 units. So that conversation that Lifus just had with those 3 axemen, they're like, "Oh, you're Lifus, you're the big bad guy." And then he basically talks about how he can get us out, and he just tricked them into being human bodyguards. So he basically tricked them to do our bidding. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, this chapter is pretty interesting. I really like this chapter. It's very unique. This whole sequence is very unique, so please look forward to it.
Alrighty, I am back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I think we should be good now.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I'm going to do a plug here real quick. Now's a good time.
No problem. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Just tuning in. This is the RTA in Japan 2 marathon. It is the second annual live speedrunning marathon in Japan. You are watching the English language restream hosted here on twitch.tv/speedgaming3. Speed Gaming has 4 channels, all of which host a variety of speedrun events, marathons, and tournaments. We're very fortunate to have this restream going here, and show your support by following all 4 Speed Gaming channels, the commentators, and the runners.
Am I allowed to answer that question? Who is the best waifu in the Fire Emblem series?
Absolutely, you are.
I need the okay on that.
You have the okay.
Alright, well, clearly the best waifu in the Fire Emblem series is Marth's wife, Sheeta. She is responsible for recruiting, I think, 40% of the units in Marth's army. That's just a random percentage just thrown out there. She also has a really good recruitment conversation with a character by the name of Roger, where she basically seduces him into the army. So I think she's a pretty great character. Also, Ishtar is awesome. I also forgot to mention that we got our second thief character, and she is a very unique character in that she can promote 2 times. So before Fire Emblem 10 Radiant Dawn, well, actually no, in Fire Emblem 2 you can promote 2 times as well, but you're only supposed to promote once. Like, you're a lord and then you promote to Master Lord, or a mage and you promote to a sage. This unit, our female thief here, can promote to a master thief, to a dancer, and I'm not sure if he's going to get dancer because it is skippable, so we'll have to see. Yeah, Fire Emblem Gaiden and technically Fire Emblem 8 has tier 3s. I don't really count that though. I kind of think of it as like baby Pokemon. Like, would you really count Raichu as the 3rd evolution in the Pikachu line?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I would say Ewan, Ross, and Amelia are the baby Pokemon of the series.
So earlier you were saying that this is probably the most speedrun Fire Emblem game in Japan, correct? If I were to try to find a leaderboard for something like this, where would I go?
I think for Thracia, you would have to go to Nico, but I did check out Speedrun.com, which is the leaderboard for pretty much everything now, and I didn't see any runs up on there. I could be incorrect. I can definitely check that out. It's Speedrun.com. It's a website that you can go to find most of the games that you would like to see speedrun. Okay, so I have a very different opinion on trainee units than most Fire Emblem players. I think they're a waste of time. Honestly, I think that Ross is good because he appears at a good time, but I would never waste my time on Yvonne or Amelia. If you have to invest so much into one character across multiple chapters, I don't really think that character is that good. Might be pure cast. Go is hard to navigate. I do play LTC, but I also do challenge runs as well, and I've never used Ewan, Amelia, or Ross in my hard mode playthroughs. Yeah, they are S-types, so that's another archetype to bring up. There are 3 Pegasus Sisters in Fire Emblem 1. There's Pala, Katria, and Est. Now, Est is the youngest Pegasus Sister, and she comes pretty late in the game at like level 1. And so this is an archetype that is used in several Fire Emblem games, and people typically love these characters. One that is very popular with a lot of fans is Nino. Also not a fan of her. Please don't hang me. I think the beauty of Fire Emblem is if you can make these quote-unquote bad units work out very well in a hard mode setting, then that's nice. Seth is the god. Like, Fire Emblem 8 is basically Seth Emblem. I appreciate that countdown. So there is the leaderboard for this game in particular. I really like how he's doing this chapter. He baited all these reinforcements that appeared to the other side, and he's just going to juke them and get everybody out to safety. So this is an escape chapter. How this works is what I mentioned earlier and what somebody else mentioned in the chat is everybody else has to leave first before Leaf. If you leave first with Leaf, then everybody else gets captured, and that is no good. Yes, if you have all 3 Pegasus Sisters in range, then you can do the triangle attack. I've actually never done the triangle attack in any Fire Emblem game except for Gaiden, because in Gaiden I actually went out of my way to grind all the Pegasus Sisters. Yeah, I'd really like to sit down and have a conversation with some of these Japanese players about the run. Yeah, in Fire Emblem 4, there's 3 mages, and they have a triangle attack. I've never had that done on me before, and I don't want it to happen. Every time I see them, I get terrified. Fire Emblem 9's triangle attack was the 3 brothers. One was an axe user, one was a lance user, and one was a bow user. So that was really unique. I like that. It's unfortunate he skipped the cutscene that has a cameo from some Fire Emblem 4 characters. So this is another part of the escape. This is going to be like the next few chapters are just a big escape, getting Leaf out. We haven't even unlocked the preparation screen yet. And just so you know, stamina is going to take effect in the next 4 chapters, I believe. So I'm going to assume that everyone's going to be unusable except for Leaf. But we will have some new units coming into the chapter that happens on to compensate.
Now, did this Fire Emblem game, were there any new mechanics introduced in this game as staples in later games?
Actually, now that I think about it, no. There was a ton of new mechanics introduced, but right after that, they just said, okay, there's too many mechanics in this game, so we're just gonna make it really basic and really safe. Dismounting was removed, the movement thing was removed, capture was removed, which is really sad. Oh yeah, this game did introduce Fog of War maps, so that did stay. Oh no. He lost Fergus. I'm pretty sure that's a reset. Or was that intended? Oh wow, it was intended. I'm surprised he let that unit just die. Yeah, we after this game we had because we didn't get Fire Emblem 6, but Fire Emblem 6 was released. Okay, so first it was Super Smash Bros. Melee. And then Roy was introduced and Marth was introduced in Melee, and everybody was like, oh my god, those characters are so cool. And then they released Fire Emblem 6, and fans were a bit upset because they wanted, to play a Fire Emblem game. You can introduce these 2 cool characters in this game, and we're not going to be able to play those games? That sucks. So then when Fire Emblem 7 was released, we later on got it. Yes, unfortunately, we lost Fergus, but we are going to get a pretty tough unit. You see on the top left on the map, we have 2 mages. We have Asval and Seti. Seti will most likely be getting later. We will be recruiting Asval now. Very, very strong units. So Fergus's death will not be in vain. Yes, I actually brought that up earlier. Eliwood is the father of Roy. And because Eliwood looked so much like Roy, they thought that Hector was Marth, which is hilarious.
I'm still surprised they have the sunglasses on.
Oh, they're not taking those sunglasses off. I think they're committed.
I think so too.
Yeah, there was also a meme because of that. That is still kind of alive. Everybody was known as Marth, which is funny because Marth is considered the mascot of the series. He's the first main character. So everybody would call Roy Red Marth and Ike and Hector Buff Marth. Then with the introduction of Lucina, they would call Lucina Boy Marth and Marth Girl Marth. I wasn't a fan of that meme. Oh yeah, twin Marths. There's so many. Bring that meme back. Okay, so that conversation that our Pegasus Knight, who's not on a Pegasus, is just had with Seti. They are brother and sister, and what she got from that conversation was a stat scroll. So the stat. Okay, this is why I said earlier that this game has like the least bad cast, because you can increase your growth rates with these scrolls. So you can make like a pretty mediocre unit into a good unit, and a great unit into a really broken unit. He's gonna be putting all these scrolls on Aswell because he wants to get like the most stat gains. I assume that he's gonna try and promote him immediately. I also forgot to mention, since we have a mage here, and why he put a... Oh, he got a movement star. Why he put a level 1 mage right here. If he does get attacked by any magic, it doesn't matter, because for those of you that are familiar with Gen 1 and how the special attack stat worked in that game, that's how the resistance stat works in this game. So the higher magic you have, the less, or the higher resistance you have. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's cool. Maybe for like one game, but for future games, it kind of sucks. Scrolls also prevent players from being critically attacked. That I did not know. Thank you for that. And as you see, they captured the mage, stole a Thunder Tome, and then threw him out. So when you capture a unit and you throw them out, they're dead. So it's pretty brutal. You take all their stuff and then you just kill them.
Are there any other categories for this game, such as, you were speaking about low turn count earlier, but would you also see like 100% speedruns or anything like that?
I assume that every Fire Emblem game has a all recruits category, which is basically make sure that every unit that can be recruited is alive. I know that there is another run that I'm commentating later, which is Fire Emblem 3. And that category he's doing is Book 1, all units safe. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's ever called it 100%, but all chapters and all units safe for categories I don't think are ran for this game, but because it's kind of difficult. It would also be super arbitrary too, because there are some units that just have to die, or there's some units that can't be recruited because we have other units in our party, which I'll be sure to point out later. One to look out for is there's a unit by the name of Olwen. And there's another unit that can join later on, but if Olwen is alive or in your party, then you have to kill that guy. Yeah, full recruit RTA in this game is not realistic, but it is a thing in other Fire Emblem games. Oh man, why did you have to bring up Shadow Dragon recruit all units? So in Shadow Dragon, there are guidance chapters like this game, but the guidance chapters are designed very poorly, and I think how they're designed is with the intention of, I guess they just assume that people playing Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon are going to be bad, because you have to have a certain amount of characters dead in your party to unlock those chapters, which is really bad. So you have to have 15 units or less to unlock kind of chapters. So for the older Fire Emblem games, unfortunately, you'd have to like import those. There are other ways of getting them, of course. For the GBA Fire Emblem games, I believe all of them are on the Wii U's list. See, I don't really think that makes Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon as a whole a bad game, but I also actually like that game. I don't like it from a gameplay standpoint. I think it's pretty weak in that aspect, but it definitely had the best localization in the series. But that is because the localization team that worked on Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, for those of you that are familiar with that, also did the localization for Shadow Dragon, and some of the lines in that game are just really good. So that's why I like it. For those of you that are interested in playing the older Fire Emblem games, I'll try to give like a non-biased opinion. A lot of people tell you to play 4, but Fire Emblem 4's maps are very huge. I would look it up on Wikipedia. Those maps can take up to 2 hours to complete. Very huge maps. I would actually recommend Fire Emblem 3 if you wanted to play an older one, or this one if you feel you're up to the challenge. Fire Emblem 1, okay, I like that game. I don't recommend it. It's very slow. It's super old. It doesn't have the weapon triangle either, but each weapon does different things, which is cool. So, for example, in Fire Emblem 1, you have the sword that is more accurate, but the axe and lances do more damage, but they have a higher chance of missing. And then there's also bow guns in that game, which is something that didn't return in the series until Fire Emblem 10, I believe.
Just a minute ago, I went through look up to see how much one of these cartridges would cost, and it looked like on eBay some people were selling the game or fan translations of the game as a cartridge for like $25. Would you trust something like that?
Yeah, repo carts are pretty reliable. I would definitely do some research and just check out the reviews, but for the most part, I know people that have bought those carts off of eBay and they've been fine. I would recommend just personally, this is me personally, I would just make some flashcards if you're kind of a little bit interested in Japanese and learn what stuff does instead of buying repo carts, so you can have the real authentic cart. Yeah, the Fire Emblem 6 repo carts are really good. I haven't heard any complaints about those. If there is a Fire Emblem 5 Thracia one, stay away from that. Because that translation is not finished at all. So I know a little bit of Japanese. My Japanese isn't that great. I can probably hold a basic conversation, but how I learned it was actually playing Pokemon in Japanese and a little bit of Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem uses a lot of mature words, not necessarily bad words, but words that you probably wouldn't see from younger people, I'd say, just from an older audience. And that kind of tripped me up when I was first playing Fire Emblem in Japanese. Yeah, he's been getting captured to waste enemy turn. So what you're going to see that he's going to do a lot in this run is he's going to send his units that have no weapons or low strength to get captured. And of course it's better to do that because you won't take any damage. He's also stealing a lot, which is nice.
Now, in these fights here, or in this battle map here, can he rely on the enemies consistently doing the same thing over and over again, or are they on their own random elements?
The enemies in this game are very easy to abuse. They have like a priority system. I don't know what it is in this game in particular. I can assume that if you have a cleric, they'll try and capture it. If you have a unit with no weapons, they'll try and capture it. And then after that, it's like just attack or focus on debuffing / status effects. It's different depending on the game. And yes, when you capture a unit, you take a stat drop. And I totally forgot to mention that earlier. Thanks for bringing that up. So what he was doing earlier is he made it so the mages captured his thieves, and that made it so it was really easy to steal from them, because at that point the mages just have really low strength and really low speed, so it's just a 100% weapon steal. Yeah, something I like to do in my challenge playthroughs is if I have a really, really high defense unit, I like to send them out with no weapons and just have them take damage from me. You don't have to. Actually, yeah, sometimes you do need to unequip the weapon because they'll be like, yeah, I'm not gonna attack that unit, I'm gonna die. Sometimes the AI is smart. Usually it isn't. There is if you guys are interested in importing Japanese games, there is a guy in the speedrunning community who sells Japanese games. His name is Yig Drizzle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. He gets the games out to you really fast. I've never had any issues with anything I've gotten from Yig Drizzle. And I'm sure he has every Fire Emblem game in Japanese except for Thracia, because that's a hard card to come by. And yes, that's how you spell Yggdrasil. Could link his Twitter. Let's see. He also has a page on eBay called Yggdrasil Books. Yeah, this is going to be a very slow chapter. He's taking his time clearing the enemies. So what's going to happen? I'm not sure if I've missed it. There is a unit that is going to appear who is unbeatable right now. And I'm not sure if that is turn-based or if Leaf gets to a certain part of the map. What's up, Diamond? I almost called you Thracia.
Some people on Twitch are asking about the game not being Blast Core. No, this is not Blast Core. This is Final Fantasy Thracia776.
Final Fantasy Thracia. The best Final Fantasy game is Fire Emblem 3 on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, most Japanese games are cheap. These games are pretty cheap, except for Fire Emblem 5, which is the game we're looking at right now, and the Tellius games.
Did I say Final Fantasy earlier?
Yes, you did. I thought you were joking.
I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Sorry. This is Fire Emblem Thracia.
Fire Emblem Thracia.
Unfortunately, Blast Corps was the previous run. Talking more about the history of the series, so the main director or producer for this game, Kaga, he left after this game because he wanted to make like a disc-based Fire Emblem game. So there is a PS1 Fire Emblem-esque game that is literally just Fire Emblem, just with a different name. It's called Tearing Saga. Didn't come to America, unfortunately, but it's pretty solid. I'm playing through it right now, currently. Also, I would say this game is the Dark Souls of the Fire Emblem series. Yes, Kaga did get sued over Tearing Saga, and he won, which is pretty cool. Oh, I didn't know he tried to connect to Fire Emblem. Wow. I know the main character originally had blue hair. Yeah, I saw that recently. I really prefer although I do unconditionally love all the Fire Emblem games, I do prefer this style a bit more. Playing through Tearing Saga right now, it's like, wow, Kaga really knew what he was doing with Fire Emblem.
As chat has pointed out here, the guy on the left on the couch is struggling to stay awake here.
I know, this is such a slow chapter. After this, it picks up though, I promise. So it's also what, 2:46 a.m. in Japan?
Yeah, 2:46 right now. So it's almost 3 in the morning for them.
See, this is why these guys came dressed to impress with their shades, and they're just having a good time.
Like, that's how cool they are. It's 2:46 in the morning, still wearing sunglasses.
Yep.
You don't get much cooler than that.
So as you can see, we're hitting like the hour mark, and we're only like 5 chapters in. Things are about to pick up a lot. We're going to be introduced to the Warp Staff later, which I'm sure all the OG fans are familiar with the Warp Staff. So the Warp Staff is very broken. You can, I mean, the name pretty much tells you what it does. It warps, but there's no limit. So you can have you can just warp the Lord, leave to like the end of a map, have him kill the boss, and then just take the throne in like turn 2. Which I think he's probably going to be using 2 warp staffs and then having a stronger unit kill the boss. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have a page on speedrun.com. Countdown linked a Purecast leaderboard earlier. Poor guy, let him sleep. I don't think Kirby Massa has any interest in SNES Fire Emblem games. He hasn't even played one yet. But at least he's played Shadow Dragon and its sequel. So we are almost out of this chapter. And I forgot to mention our strong sword master, Abel, who is gray to our right, has been petrified. And she's going to be kidnapped, and we won't see her till chapter 21X, where we do have an option to save her. I don't think he's going to do that, though.
Just to let everyone know, I'm getting in contact with people right now trying to update the stream here. So just give it a few minutes. Let's see if we can get it fixed.
Yes, this is a restream of the live feed. Alright, so we are on the final phase of the escape. Now everybody can mount up. We only have one mounted unit though, because unfortunately Fergus died. I believe this is one of the few Fire Emblem games with a revive staff too. I could be incorrect on that. Reviving is a thing in, I think, only 4 Fire Emblem games. Just Shadow Dragon and its remix, and the sequel. There's no revive in 5? Okay. That's unfortunate then. So Fergus is just dead forever. The Shadow Dragon and its remix have one. Fire Emblem 4 have it. Fire Emblem Gaiden has a fountain. If you count Fire Emblem Warriors, it has a revive system too. But I mean, honestly, if you die in Fire Emblem Warriors, just reset, dude. Yeah, some of these runners are only going to be on Nico Nico or Purecast. I wouldn't really count casual mode as a... I mean, it is literally a revive, right? But it's not in the same way as like a classic revive. You're not reviving units from the dead. Fates does have a funny mode though called Phoenix mode, which if you die that turn, you'll come back the next turn. So you literally, there's no way to lose. Our main man on the couch is awake. Look at his smile. Nice revive staff and Fates. Interesting. I guess I never got it. Which final chapter? Because if it's the Nor one, that one, I 1000% just LTC'd that one. I'm glad somebody brought that up because now I can bring that topic up. There was a huge debate back in the day on if who was the worst lord. Was it Leaf or was it Roy? And it's definitely not Leaf. As more people continue to play Fire Emblem 5, they learned that he's definitely not the worst. He has a personal weapon at the start of the game, and it's ranged. He's immune to the stamina mechanic, which makes him pretty good. Roy does no damage. I did a hard mode playthrough recently, and all I used him for was his rapier. He promotes super late, which Leaf does promote super late as well, but he's still useful before that, just because how the mechanics work in the game. And we are promoting Aswell this chapter. I don't know why people think Eliwood is the worst, because Eliwood was actually my MVP in my Hector hard mode playthrough. Is it really pronounced Lathe? My favorite classes from the series would have to be Pegasus Knight.
And hey, just quick announcement here. We have our other commentator, Burton, is joining us now.
Oh wow.
What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all good.
So you actually routed this game, right, Burton?
Yeah, man. I just never got around to doing it. Actually,
I see. So are we gonna see anybody get saved in 21X? Are we even gonna see 21X?
You'll see it, but he'll leave immediately.
That's unfortunate.
You already told him about why he used that skill ring on her, right?
No, I didn't. Do tell.
Yeah. So he gave a skill ring to her because he's gonna be using the warp staff for her a lot in these upcoming chapters, and that's to ensure that it does not miss, because this is still the only Fire Emblem game so far that has actual accuracy with using staves.
See, I didn't know that the warp staff could miss. That's actually tragic. I thought it was just heals.
Oh yeah. See, he's about to use it right here.
Yep. So the run's gonna get a little bit faster now.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Burton's,
Much faster.
Like Burton's Twitch in the chat. Bam.
He actually needs to capture the boss here in order to go to the guidance chapter. But he won't be doing that. Not in the run.
Is there any more guidance chapters we're gonna see? And also, do you know if he's gonna take Route B, right?
Yes, I believe so. For he will be going to the guidance chapter with all the dancers. I forgot which X that was exactly. But he'll be going there to get some more the thief staff.
Is he gonna be promoting our female thief into a dancer as well, or?
Yes, that's mostly the reason he'll be going there, because the dancer is very useful in the run.
That's good.
But yeah, for a lot of these upcoming chapters, you're just going to be seeing warping. Literally, just warp to the end.
It's kind of like Shadow Dragon in that sense. But I think Shadow Dragon's worse because you get 2 warps, right? Or more than that.
This was actually the final Fire Emblem game where they allow you to just warp anywhere on the map.
Yeah.
And they started using it to scale off your stats.
I like how it took him that long to realize it was a bad idea. I guess enough people didn't play Fire Emblem 2 to realize that was a bad idea. I like the entrap stuff that they introduced. That's a cool one. I never found any use for it, but I like the idea of it.
Oh yeah.
It's basically like you just have a cleric that can pull units to you and then just take them down.
But yeah, he's not even gonna try to fight anybody here. It's just gonna gather up everybody and leave ASAP.
Shoot, I kind of wish I did that my first playthrough. This chapter wasn't that bad actually, but it was scary.
Oh yeah.
It's like you're gonna throw all these Wyvern Riders at me.
The neat thing is you can actually rescue Leaf and then leave with somebody else and it'll still count as him leaving.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why they rescue them. You know, horses can move
Yeah.
much farther than anybody else.
How do you feel about the mechanic where everybody has to leave first and then the Lord?
That's pretty tedious.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, it's pretty tedious. And it's definitely an eye-opener if you didn't know about it.
My first playthrough, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna leave, and then I looked and all my units were gone.
So yeah, right here he's gonna give Leaf to him and then warp him over to the boss.
Our boy Azul.
Yeah, Asbel's gonna be the main attacker for most of the game. I tried so hard to route without him, but it's such a pain.
He's just too good.
Yeah.
Burton, when you came in, we didn't get a proper introduction. Do you want to tell Chad a little bit about yourself here real quick?
Well, my name is Burton, aka Sox98 on Twitch. I speedrun a bunch of stuff. The reason I'm here is I've done quite a bit of tampering and routing with this game. So just decided to offer myself up when I heard somebody was running this. That's all I really have to say for myself. I ain't got really much else to say.
Oh, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, they're gonna kill Olwen? Oh no.
You actually can't kill her in this chapter.
Oh, okay.
She will always dodge the death blow. See? She'll dodge that and dodge that. Same with the other guy, too. Forgot what his name is.
I'm glad I know that for next playthrough.
Yeah, you can't kill this guy either.
So, are we gonna be skipping Olwen?
Yes.
Are we keeping Fred though, or we're just skipping both of them?
Skipping both. You actually warp just straight to the boss.
Damn.
And the funny thing is, you can't actually kill the boss there. All you have to do is hit him one time and he leaves.
Yeah, it's like, oh, all right, I'm not trying to mess with this. Goodbye.
Yeah. A really neat thing about Asvel is the tome that he starts with. It has a crazy amount of hit rate on it. It has like a 100 hit rate. Has good power on it, and it also has, I believe, 40 or 50 crit on it. And Asvel's pursuit crit bonus is actually ×2, so it's almost a guaranteed crit if he doubles.
So he's nuts.
Yeah, he's almost guaranteed to crit. And he's also great as your main attacker because there's a lot of terrain bonuses in this game that give extreme defense bonuses. So going with a magic user that's this good, it's the perfect choice.
Yeah.
This boss being a really good example of it because this boss has a lot of defense and the gate he's sitting at gives him like 10 extra defense. But yeah, this can be a pain because there's a lot of things trying to kill you when you warp right there because you're pretty much going right in the middle of the most defended area.
Who were some of your favorite units to use during your casual playthrough?
I like using Dean whenever you get him. Brighton, because he has Wrath starting with. And Wrath is godlike in this game.
Yes.
Othin, because Poogie's axe is godlike as well.
Yes. Yes, the game is in real time. I'm like a big magic boy, so I really liked Asvel, of course, because he is the best. Well, I guess Seti might be better than him because he has a better weapon, right?
Oh, you mean yeah, he does have a whole Seti and
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get him till the end of the game, but he's really, really good when you do get him.
I liked Olwen too, because she has a brave tome, which is pretty unique.
All right, so he unequipped Leaf so he could get captured intentionally, and now he's just gonna direct him to the gate.
Yep.
Because he's actually surrounded by 2 unkillable units right now, so there's really no other way to get him there besides that. Alright, so here's that chapter we were talking about earlier. All you have to do is hit the boss here one time and he leaves. This chapter is actually really annoying if you do not have a warp staff, because in the middle of those gates, you need a thief to open up 3 doors. Once you go inside, they lock you in, and there's just a bunch of armored knights in there, along with Fred.
And they have like longbows, right, on the sides that appeared. Oh man,
They just barrage you with a bunch of stuff.
when I first did that, I was like, this game is not fair.
So yeah, as usual, he's gonna let Leaf get captured intentionally. It's actually a really nice feature for capture because it actually gets at least 1 unit to not attack you, because if there's someone who's able to be captured, the enemy will go after that first, always, if they're able to capture.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice distraction to use to your advantage. So yeah, the boss is gonna attack him, and all you have to do is just get 1 hit on him. You can't kill him no matter how hard you try. He'll always dodge the... Yeah. There's actually a lot of units in this game that are like that just won't let you kill them. And he dips out.
Just like that.
Yep. Now, most Fire Emblem games actually let you have a 100 hit, meaning that you won't miss. This is one of the few games where they don't let you have it. The highest you can go is 99. They just leave that 1% there for moments just like that. Be pretty weird to see a 100% hit rate and you still miss.
Yeah.
So you just have to leave that 1%. It's not a bad growth.
Yeah, I think he's only reset once in the early game over some bad stats.
Oh yeah. It'll get worse once he gets to the Reinhardt chapter. That's the worst one.
Oh man.
Now this one's pretty fun because just like every other Gaiden chapter in the game, it's in the dark. So you have to locate exactly the square you need the warp on in the dark.
Jesus.
And if you do it right, you'll be like right in front of the boss. Now you don't want to kill the boss here. You want to capture him and keep him alive and then take the gate. Because the Gaiden chapter here after this is really important.
This is a chapter where you can get a 3rd thief, right?
No. The Gaiden chapter after this is Pram. He's the actual boss of the next Gaiden chapter. You actually get a lot of units next chapter. Alright, he's gonna try to capture Salem here. Another thing is when you try to capture a unit, your stats actually get halved. So it can be kind of painful to capture a unit who is on a square that gives them extra evade. If he missed any of those hits, he'd have to restart.
Yeah, that's one thing that frustrated me in my casual playthrough, and I didn't really realize that. So what I just did is I just had Finn capture everybody for me with his Brave Lance.
So he's just gonna go ahead and teleport everybody straight to the boss. He'll be like right in front of him. Now there's a cleric like right next to the boss named Tina who has a thief staff, and she can steal your stuff from a long distances with that staff. But he's just gonna talk to the boss with Laura and turn her to a dancer.
Yep, which is what I mentioned earlier. This unit is really, really unique in that she can promote twice. Did you go out of your way to promote her twice, or did you just get dancer?
I just stopped at dancer.
I see. I thought about it, but I was like, I'm just gonna use her to dance.
Yeah. And that dancer's gonna come really useful later on. Mostly for the Reinhardt chapter. That's what you'll mostly want her for. And this is yet another escape chapter. You don't have to kill the boss here. So I don't know if you knew this, but you see the arrow going into the place you're supposed to escape, right?
Yes.
If the arrow is blue, you can actually leave with Leaf first. If it's red, everybody else has to leave before them.
Oh, okay.
They actually color code it. But of course, they don't tell you directly in the game about that.
Yeah, it's one of the things I was bringing up earlier, because this is actually one of my lesser played Fire Emblem games, so it just has so many hidden mechanics.
Oh yeah, there is quite a bit.
Like I saw in the first chapter, he reset over a movement. What is it? What is it actually called? The thing that gives you an extra turn.
You know what? I don't even know if there's an actual name for that I know of. I just call it the music note.
The music note? I like that.
Like sometimes when you move, you'll get like a music note and then you can move again.
Yeah.
But it's like an extremely low chance, and it's dependent on how many stars your character has, and every character has a different amount of stars. Maximum amount of stars they can have is up to 5, which I believe it's 5% for every star they have, so I think maximum is 25%.
Nope.
And some bosses later on in the game have 5 stars. And I believe Reinhardt is one of them.
Yeah. I think so as well.
But that's not till late in the game, but
Makes me sad that you can't recruit him no matter what.
yeah. Be great to have him.
Yeah. I captured him and I was just like sitting there. So he's gonna join me, right? And then nope. Is a resource that compiles all the mechanics of this game. Honestly, I think your best bet is Wikipedia. Fire Emblem Wikipedia is pretty good.
I found that the best place for this game, particularly, is Fire Emblem WOD, which is Fire Emblem WOD. It's a Spanish community Fire Emblem site. They have these really detailed maps about the game. And even though it's, you'll go to it at first and it'll be in Spanish, you go to the bottom left corner, you can actually change the site to English. I've used that site when routing this. It's really, really useful. 100% recommended.
Oh, okay. Linked it in the chat.
Also, this is the chapter where you get Dean. This is one of the few chapters in the game where you actually have to defend rather than capture or leave. This is also pretty notorious for casual players as being one of the harder maps in the game too. Your objective being is to just protect the castle in the middle. And there will be armies coming from every side of the map. The knights have hammers, which are effective against knights, so it's not like you can put knights up into the choke points and be safe. And then at later points of the map, at the very, very bottom, there'll be another army of Wyvern Riders coming down, and they can also attack you.
All gone.
I was gonna say, there's actually more than one boss on this map as well. At the very, very bottom left, he's not gonna fight him. There is a general. Actually, not a general, what I'm saying, it's a baron who has a monstrous set of stats, and he has really, really good weapons on him. Most people don't bother with him, but if you're able to, you can get some really nice weapons off of him.
Yeah, this chapter was stressful for me.
Oh yeah.
It's like, is this for real? Like,
I guess one of those chapters where it's defend, where they try to bait you with a lot of good stuff around. So they want you like, oh, I need to find a way to get all this stuff. But if you do, you know, you could actually lose people trying to do it.
yeah. It's funny you bring that up, that it's pretty much a bait, because yeah, I've kind of realized that with this game. I was like, this is definitely bait. Is it really worth it? Like, do I need this to complete the game?
Yeah, you'll find yourself thinking to yourself, do I really need this? Do I need to take this risk?
Yeah. You know what? I tried to recruit everybody my first playthrough too, and I eventually just said fuck it. Like, I'm only using Asvel anyways.
It's a struggle. Like, Xavier is the worst.
Yeah, and he's not worth it too.
I wouldn't say no, he's not worth it. Oh wow. He took a hit. Oh, he actually went for the capture. Whenever you see the to the right, the red represents the enemy. Whenever you see that turn pink, they're actually going for a capture rather than a kill. And the same thing happens with them. Their stats get halved when they try to capture. So it's harder for them to hit, harder for them to damage, all that other stuff. Even their defenses get halved too. So they can take more damage while trying to capture someone.
Another thing I was thinking with this game, although at this point you probably should like have a stamina drink or two, I was just thinking, they're really gonna put a chapter like this in this game when stamina is a mechanic?
Yeah.
Like, for real?
I believe all your stamina drinks in the run just go to Asvel anyway, because he's the guy who you're going to need almost every map.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of the maps where you just warp to the end. There's a lot of the characters you can just do without. Not have to worry about depleting stamina. And Leaf doesn't get affected by the stamina mechanic. So you'll never have to worry about wasting it on him.
Yeah, thank God.
I would really love to see them try to remake this game.
Me too. I think this is one of the ones that probably has a higher chance than 4 because it's less fucked up than 4. Also, I don't know how your average 2014, dude is gonna react to those maps in Fire Emblem 4.
I feel like if they remake 4, they'll condense the maps into chapters or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, there is stamina in this game, and it's not a fun mechanic.
Yep, Fire Emblem Heroes didn't introduce it. This game did. But yeah, at this point, you can just stand there happy because, okay, you see the knight that's captured one of his units? All they try to do once they capture someone is run away. And as you can see, there's nowhere he can go. So you can just keep ending your turn and then just wait for the chapter to end. Because the knight right there in the middle is trying to move away, but it can only move in like such limited spaces, so he can't get out of there. And here are the Wyvern Riders I was talking about before. Now, this game is really, really funny because if you played any other Fire Emblem game in your life, you know that green units mean that they're friendlies, but you can't control them. In this game, these Wyvern Riders, even though they're green, they can actually still attack you, and they will attack you. As you notice, they're not attacking the reds.
Yeah, when I saw this frustrated me. I was like, what's happening? I thought this was the squad to come and save me.
Nope.
This is the squad to mess me up. So yeah, when you attempt to capture, your stats are halved for when you try to capture, not the duration of the map. Also, when you actually capture somebody, your stats are lowered as well.
All right, so you got past one of the more annoying parts.
Yep.
Now this part, he's gonna have to choose to go left or right, and depending on where you choose, you get a different set of maps, I believe, for the next 2 or 3 chapters.
Yep. I think left is Route A and right is Route B, so he's gonna try and go Route B, right?
I believe so.
Route B has way more rewards, or better rewards rather, and less stressful maps.
I can never remember A or B. Nah, it looks like he's going A, if you're right about left and A.
Oh no.
I just remember what the maps look like, but I can't remember which one was A or which one was B.
Yeah, left is A. That's interesting, actually. Having this as your second Fire Emblem game you played is interesting.
Only your second? Man, I wouldn't recommend someone touching this until you played at least like 3 or 4 of them.
I think this was the last one I beat. Like, I played 1 and 2 before I played this one.
Wait, did he change his mind? Oh, I think he forgot to do the trades.
Ah, that's right.
I was confused for a moment because he went over there and he completed the map and then he reset. I was like, wait, what? So this is just gonna be another map. Just escape.
Is there any chapters that you just straight up skipped on your casual playthrough?
Let me think. I think I tried to go to every single one I could.
I see.
I'm gonna have to give it another spin for the other route because there's one route I haven't been to.
I did B route my first playthrough, but I think if I did this, I would definitely skip it.
But yeah, this is when Laura really starts being useful. Since you have a dancer now, she can dance for your staff user to use warp 2 times. So a warp leaps in front of the gate so it can be captured after he beats the boss. But yeah, having Graph Caliber that has a 100% hit rate, not even adding to the fact of his already high skill, pretty much negates the gate evade bonuses. So yeah, he's taking the same route that I did. That's what I thought. He's gonna get another warp staff here as well. There'll be a house over to the far left of the map on a mountain. They give you a warp staff. So now he's gonna use the sleep staff on this dark bishop up here. Oh wow, he got the music note.
Hey. So the chat is bringing up Tearing Saga. Did you play that yet, Burden, or have any plans to?
You know what? I never actually got around to playing that. I heard the team who've worked on Fire Emblem games made that game.
Yeah, Kaga made that game, and it's pretty solid actually. It has a lot of mechanics similar to this game.
Oh, is that on PlayStation?
Yep, PlayStation 1.
I'll have to go find it then. I think it's Japanese only though, but that's fine.
Oh, it has a translation. Well, unless you want to import. But yeah.
Oh, it does? I didn't know.
It's pretty good too. I was streaming 6 the other day, and the person who worked on that translation said he's working on the sequel, so that's nice.
Huh. I'll have to check that out then.
I would definitely recommend it if you like Thracia. This game does not have a finished translation, unfortunately. Or, well, I was told there was an update this month. So did they actually finish it?
I believe it was they called the Naga translation. Now, Fire Emblem 4 had a translation patch before the one that just came out recently, and apparently they're going to be working on this game next.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the translation. This game does have an English patch, but it's pretty busted.
Yeah. I was playing with the patch and I was like, I have an easier time reading these menus in Japanese than I do with the translation patch.
Yeah. Like, I think what's most messed up about the patch is like when you try to check like their status.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of garbled characters. I think the guy who said he did it, that he didn't really could never finish to fix that. He just mostly did dialogue and menus and stuff. Just left it at that.
Also, they just threw some memes in there too. Like the In America meme.
Oh my god.
When I first saw that, I was like,
that was an actual screenshot. That was actually something they put in there?
Yep.
I thought that was a joke.
Nah, when you interact with Fred or something, Kempf brings it up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, memes in my translation, not a fan of that.
Why? What's the point? Oh, by the way, so here's the chapter I was talking about earlier where you can recruit Xavier. So Obviously, he's not going to do that because there's no way somebody like that would be useful enough to use in a run. He's just going to do the usual, warp to the boss, kill him, and leave. But anybody who's played this game before knows this is pretty much where you stop caring about recruiting everybody.
Yeah. The reason why Xavier is so bad to recruit is because you have to let the civilians talk to all 8 Leinster armors near Xavier, then talk to them with Thief. Like, that's not worth it.
There's also another thing you can do here to get a member card. All the level 1 knights have to live.
Yeah.
So having to do both of those in one chapter was pretty painful. I had a cheese strat though, so. Like, have you heard of the thief exploit?
For this game, no, I haven't. What is it?
So if you have a thief as a build higher than the weapon that an enemy is carrying, you can steal it, like straight up steal a weapon off of them.
Oh.
But another thing you can do is not only you can take a weapon from them, but you can actually give something out of your inventory to them. So what I did is every time you steal from somebody with a thief, you get 10 experience. I just kept giving him my stuff and taking it from him. Like, you can give him a weapon that he can't use. Like, you can give a mage an iron sword or something like that. So I just kept trading iron sword back and forth with him.
Wow.
Until I got like really high level. Gave him some scrolls so his build could go up. So I took that thief and I went into that room with those knights and I stole all their weapons. So they couldn't attack. That's how I got the civilians to talk to him.
That's awesome.
I think his build was like 18 or something by the time I was done with it. Stats max out at 20 in this game. For some odd reason, it made him max at 20.
Yeah, I think it's like that for all pre-Fire Emblem or pre-Fire Emblem 6.
Were they max at 20?
Yeah.
Well, Fire Emblem 4, they can go higher than 20.
Okay. Guess I'm thinking of, well, Gaiden stats are mad messed up. That's the game where you want to promote immediately. Just strange. Finally, Leaf promotes.
This is the worst promotion of a lord in the whole series, by the way. Watch his stat gains.
I'm excited.
Yippee! 1 to everything.
He gets a mount though, right?
Nope.
Oh man,
He doesn't get his mount until Fire Emblem 4.
that's messed up.
It's really nice how they translated from this to Fire Emblem 4 because I believe the reason for that is the class he turns into is
Busted.
it's like from Prince to Lord or Lord to Prince or something like that. It's one of those two. And when you get him in Fire Emblem 4, he's that exact class. So he's pretty much promotes 2 times from his initial class. It's just you have to play this game to like follow it.
Yeah.
Since this game does take place during Fire Emblem 4.
Sure would have been nice to have him be a Master Knight though in this game.
Oh yeah, Master Knight's ridiculous. But yeah, there's a lot more to this chapter. Obviously, there's no reason for you to go here and mess with it. There's a lot of treasures and stuff you can get from like houses and stuff, but you know, it's a speedrun, so he just skips all of that. They actually set it up in such a way there's actually a lot of your units below, and to have them escape, they have to go all the way to the top of the map. So he basically just left them all there, and they all got captured. So if you looked at his unit select screen, there was a lot less units. That's because they all got captured. And he's not gonna save them either. They're gone.
No, they're gone.
This is also a defend chapter. Now what's interesting about this if I remember correctly, the boss, which is actually directly in the middle at the very bottom of the map, they will not allow you to kill him until a certain amount of turns pass. So even if you wanted to go down there and kill him, you can't.
Yes, if any unit is captured, which you're guaranteed to have at least one unit captured, because in that chapter we saw earlier, we had a unit petrified, and we left her behind. We'll unlock the chapter 21X, where we do have the option to save them, but he's just going to leave it.
If we got a spare moment here, I guess I'll do the plug. It's been about an hour and a half.
Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Cool. So for those of you just tuning in, we are watching Fire Emblem, Thracia776. You are watching the RTA in Japan 2 marathon. It's the second annual live speedrunning marathon in Japan. You are currently watching the English language restream hosted here on twitch.tv/speedgaming3. Speedgaming also hosts a variety of speedrun events, marathons, and tournaments. So please show your support to the runners, the commentators, and Speedgaming by following all 4 of the Speedgaming channels, the commentators, and the runners. Getting pretty good at that plug. And I'm seeing some general questions here in chat. Someone is asking how old this game is.
This game came out in the year 2000, believe it or not. It was one of the last, I actually believe it was the last Super Nintendo game to be released.
Damn.
This game actually came so late. At first, they had regular carts of it, but they came like really, really limited. So the way you had to get it in Japan, you had to get like this little blank looking Super Nintendo cart. You had to take it to the store and like download the game onto it. So that's why if you look at this game up on like eBay or something, you may see what looks like a repo card or something crazy like that, but it's actually how the game was mostly released. The game's on it, it's just they had to go to like these kiosks and download it from it.
Did you know that that kiosk was also used for something else Fire Emblem related?
What was that?
So there's DLC, I guess I'll call it, for Fire Emblem 3 called BS Fire Emblem, where it just has you play scenarios of certain characters.
I've actually heard of BS Fire Emblem, but I never played it. I didn't know you downloaded that from a kiosk.
Yup. Pretty cool. They also reused it in the remake of Fire Emblem 3.
Wait, really? Huh.
Yeah. Oh, it was on a Sega channel type, or it was like a Sega channel type service. Yeah, I actually haven't gotten around to play BS Fire Emblem yet, which is crazy because like I'm one of the few Western fans that are just like, yeah, I like Fire Emblem 3.
I thought you were gonna say Fire Emblem 1. I was like, wow.
I like Fire Emblem 1 too, but I won't say that it's a great game or anything. I like it for very different reasons. I like playing the first game in the series to see where it's come from, but there is some exceptions, like the first Street Fighter game, like I don't find that enjoyable at all.
I don't know many people who do.
It's like not even like bad fun. Like it's like just bad.
I always found this a really weird moment to actually promote Sarah.
Yeah. It does seem weird.
But yeah, she'll come in use later on. The final map has a lot of warping, using silent staffs and stuff like that, so you're gonna need her to have as much magic as possible. It's really neat how well planned the final map is.
Yeah, and also speaking of high magic, I did mention that the magic stat works similar to special attack in Gen 1 Pokemon. How did you feel about that? What do you think?
Oh yeah, how it was defense, and it's really, really weird because they had resistance for like the other 4 Fire Emblem games, and then this game, they're like, you know what? Let's just merge it together. It's like playing Gold and Silver, right? And then you play like Ruby and Sapphire, and there's like, you know what? Specials merged to special attack and special defense.
So weird. I think they just wanted to just throw in as much mechanics as possible in this game. That's what I just assumed. Like, let's make this Fire Emblem game a really, really unique one.
It definitely is. I really love the capture mechanic. It's one of my favorite things about this game.
Yeah, I wish they kept that. I actually like dismounting as well.
Oh yeah, that too.
I like it because it kind of forces you to use different weapons. I mean, there are situations where you will use other weapons in other Fire Emblem games, but I want to be forced.
So yeah, he's basically put the knight to sleep, and then he's just using it as a stall tactic. I always found it weird how all of the knights just ignore the group you put over to the right, as you can just see them standing there. They just never bother.
They don't even care.
Yeah.
They want Leaf.
Like, they're designed to take the throne, but they'll just ignore everybody else.
Oh, is there something special he's trying to do here? Or just still stalling?
Yep, just still stalling.
So I have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Will the timing be end of the credits or on the last meaningful input?
I'm not actually sure how the Japanese time this game. A safe bet would be after credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because most of them do time it that way, but I'm not familiar with this runner in general, so I'm not exactly sure how he does it. But yeah, as I've said before, they will not let you kill this boss until a certain amount of turns. So you just stall. When the turns you need to wait go away, you just kill him. And he's asleep, so he can't do anything. He's just a sitting duck. He mainly did it to him so he wouldn't get scrambled into those pile of knights that are everywhere. Oh yeah, here's a chapter you can pick Set or Sias.
Oh yeah, is he gonna skip getting I assume so.
Now another runner I've seen get SETI. I want to see if he does it any different. Because I get SETI myself in my route.
Yeah, it seems worth it.
Oh yeah, he's real good. It's an extra attacker for the final map.
Yep. And the thing about the final map is it's not necessarily the final boss being difficult, it's just getting to him.
Yeah, the Dreadlords are ridiculous.
Wow, okay. Looks like he doesn't get him.
Yep. So, here is the guidance chapter you go to if any of your units get captured. They actually give you a chance to save them. And as I said before, he's not going to save them, he's just going to leave.
Yep.
There's also some nice treasures here too, but you can do without them, so just leave them. I just always found this to be like the most depressing part of the run, because it's just like, are your units getting captured after you leaving them like that? You get a chance to go to the prism and then you just leave.
I like how they're clapping to that.
Yeah, the chat's laughing about it too.
It's so brutal. That makes me sad.
Oh yes, this is the notorious Reinhardt map. So, I like to call this the most reset heavy part of the game because you're gonna need to beat the boss. Now here's the problem. If you see the guy right in front of the armored guy, he actually gives him a lot of evade because of his leadership stars. I believe it gives him like an extra 20 evade or something stupid like that. That on top of the gate bonus he already has. So a lot of your attacks have a high chance of missing because of all that. If you take him out, all you have to do is warp leaf onto the gate where he's standing and then just leave. That's all you really need to do. Yep, there's the miss. Now he's gonna have to reset. I've seen many, many runs die to this. But it's easily the most reset heavy part of the game, by far. There's some other luck part of the games, like the prison chapter with the chest. Those are random. But none of those are as bad as that. Oh, and the boss is very tanky too, even for Asphalt. Like, you have to land every hit. Yep. There's him.
Apparently it's plus 50%.
Oh, 50. My bad. I was way off.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's why you see him missing a lot. It's basically because of those evasion bonuses. If he gets both hits, he's dead. Now, if you're doing this casually, everything I told you there, you could pretty much like eliminate all that if you just wait long enough. Then Sias just leaves. Oh, big shield.
Oh, wow.
That's a skill that generals have. Sometimes it activates, and pretty much they take no damage from whatever attack that you're about to do. So yeah, there's also that possibility.
I don't think there's cursor manipulation in this game, right, Burton? Like in the GBA Fire Emblem games?
It doesn't work like GBA. Like, you might have saw him a couple of times where he'd like target an enemy and then he'd like move a couple of bit with his D-pad. That's for like you can manipulate like some misses and stuff. You use it in a few chapters. But it's nowhere near to the effect of like GBA.
The GBA is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, he got a crit. Oh, he got so lucky. That's crazy.
Nice. And then his luck goes up.
Yeah, that's all you pretty much have to do. Thankfully, he can leave after that. There's really nothing else to it.
The protagonist of this Fire Emblem game is Leaf. Or someone's been telling me in the chat it's pronounced Leith, but I've never heard it pronounced before, so.
Leif. What?
Yeah, Leith.
I don't know where you got that from. Okay.
I'm just gonna call him Leaf.
Yeah. I mean, when I see his Japanese name, looks like it's pronounced Leaf to me.
Yeah. Or maybe he was trying to tell me it was Leith, not. Yeah, there you go. But I prefer Leaf. He's a Leaf.
He is a Leaf. Oh, my bad. This chapter looks just like the other one. Yeah, that's the chapter where you get Sias or Set. I got those two mixed up. They look so much alike in how they're sort of designed.
Yeah.
I forgot it. It's the one you silence the two dark bishops. The boss in the middle is a cream puff at this point. Oh, you got max magic off that level up. Nice.
And the music, though.
Yo. If you show up in front of him, get close to the boss with Leaf. Said he kills him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, he just appears out of nowhere and just kills him.
Hey, what's up? God, there's so much like cool stuff in this game.
Yo. I really love how they put attack animations on the map too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this game didn't get released in America.
Nope.
We didn't get our first Fire Emblem game until the second GBA one.
Yeah, we didn't even get 6.
Which I think is projected to be the next remake we get, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Because Echoes is supposed to be a remake series. They said they really want to do that one next.
I think makes the most sense. Like, people like Roy, and he doesn't have a game out here.
Alright, so he did get Sadie out. I knew there was something wrong about that other map when I was talking about it. So this is actually the map where you actually have to go kill Raedric.
It also has a really good battle theme that we're not going to hear.
So Raedric is a little unique boss who has a really, what do I want to say, a really annoying effect where all your attacks will do half the damage to him because of his sword. So you get a sword called the Bloggy Sword that only Leaf can use, and it'll negate the effects of that. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to recruit Galzius, and or is he going to use it? No, I didn't think so. About to say, because most people use Galzius to fight him because he has Luna and Astra. But you see all that cursor manipulation I was talking about before? That's what he did before fighting him. In order to do that, you really want Luna. Astra still doesn't do anything to him. Yeah. Galzius is a beast. You literally only get Marita just for that.
Dang.
Now, I've seen one route where they used the Bloggy Sword with Leaf to fight him, but he didn't really train him, so I was like, wait, is he really going to use him? It's like 2 different ways I've seen like some of these chapters, so I'm confused when I see him sometimes pick another character. I'm like, wait, uh-oh. That's not what I did. But yeah, here's the final chapter. So there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of warping, silencing, sleeping, and all that stuff.
And this final boss, just this final boss itself, not the map, I'd consider this the worst final boss. He's like really weak.
Yeah, he's extremely weak.
But getting to him in a casual playthrough is really tough. But he's weak. This boss and the Fire Emblem 6 boss I'd say are the most pathetic ones.
If you ever played Fire Emblem 7, this might kind of remind you of the final map. You have to go around defeating all the mini bosses before you get to the actual boss.
Yeah. Plot for this game, I guess TLDR, evil god, they want to resurrect him, kidnap children to be sacrificed.
Yup.
Leaf thinks that's bad. Leaf also wants to take his kingdom back because it got taken from him in Fire Emblem 4. And they're on an adventure to do that.
Meanwhile, their kingdom's trying to go after him too.
Yeah.
Like the story in this and Fire Emblem 4 is pretty dark.
Yes.
Like I like it for that reason, but ooh.
It's like, okay, you know how there's the incest is best thing going on in 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are they gonna translate that to?
I've been always thinking about it. I was like, if they remake 4, how in the world wow, he got crit.
Oh no.
Anyway, I was wondering how in the world are they gonna bring that over and not, should I say, get people upset?
Yeah, like I think what they can do is use some blood transfusion shit and just make Harvest a vampire or something. I don't know.
blood transfusion.
Because you need those blood types to actually make the plot work. So it's,
Yeah, like there's actually blood-related things going on there.
yeah. I'd really love to see that remade. I want to see all of them remade, and then this is stretching it, but I want a remake of Shadow Dragon in the style of Echoes, but add weapon triangle.
I'm actually one of the few people who actually like Shadow Dragon.
Oh, and me too. I think it did nothing wrong. And it was also written very well. Like, the lines that Marth says are pretty good. I think they'd be really good if they were voice acted as well.
Yeah. Sacrifices must be made. Oh, yeah, he can't sacrifice Galsius, though.
Yeah.
The AI will always try to go after the one they can kill or the one that can do the most damage to. So there's gonna be a lot of baiting.
I don't understand what people's gripe is with Shadow Dragon other than its graphics, because it introduced a lot of new things that were nice, like phase skipping. That's nice.
I like the class system. That's what I liked about it the most.
Yeah, that's also pretty unique. I had a friend complain about that though and said it was too complex for me, and it's like, well, you don't have to use it.
Yeah,
It's
you
there.
gotta use it.
Oh no, I want to play optimal. But why are you complaining about it?
Oh, go tell them to go pick up Awakening and then spam second seals.
Right? Yeah, I think that.
Get all the busted skills and then never die again.
Yup. I think that's what I liked about it, as well as you didn't need like second seals to change class. You just do it. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like I had a playthrough where I ran Sheeta as a mage, which is stupid, but now I wanted to try it.
Yeah. Like now you can do it. Like you can make Rise a swordsman. I don't see me ever using him otherwise.
Yo, you know there's a ton of Japanese people that made him a mercenary. Do you ever see the card of Undead Rise? Where he's a mercenary?
No. I know the Japanese love Rise though. Like they made a meme out of him.
Yup. I'll post that card for you if I can find it. That's definitely a character I'm gonna bring up a lot when I commentate Fire Emblem 3, because there's just a giant history behind him.
I don't think I know the lore
But
about him really.
you know that he was like replaced by Volnary in Fire Emblem 3, right?
Wait, he was? I don't remember that.
He's not in Fire Emblem 3 at all. They replaced him with an item, a healing item. So if you notice in Fire Emblem Heroes, he's holding a stamina drink, and that's the reference that's the stamina drink that replaced him.
Wow, I didn't actually know that. I was wondering why was he the only one holding like an item or something like that. I was like, that's weird.
Yep. Also, I posted the card that's supposed to be mercenary, undead rise. Oh no. So he's just getting really bad luck right now.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
You ever hear this music? That's not a good thing.
Yeah. This is the defeat music. I remember when I first heard this when Galzius appeared in an earlier chapter. That scared me. Like, yo, what's going on here? I looked at his stats. Oh no!
Yeah, this is also, I'd say, one of the few Fire Emblem games where they try to scare you with like some big stat enemies.
Yeah.
Like really, really early in the game too. Like they're not afraid to do that. Oh, by the way, all those axe guys in front of the stairs up at the top left, if I remember correctly, they all have like devil axes and wrath.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I don't think I've played a Fire Emblem game where a bunch of enemies have devil axe. You'll see that on like one guy at most.
Have you ever used devil weapons?
Yes, admittedly, I used it in Fire Emblem 7 because I was very ignorant to what they can do to you. I hit a wall and I got Hector killed.
Oh.
That wasn't fun.
Yeah, I used it once and I was just like, wait, what happened? Oh, okay, never again. There's some guy I know that just loves using devil weapons, so he loves the thrill of his characters taking damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those people exist. I've also seen an enemy berserker get a crit with it, but the crit backfired. The Dreadlord Thief actually just stole?
That's interesting.
I think I've always had that guy attack me. Galzius is a monster. He just captures you.
Countdown linked a leaderboard earlier from Purecast, and apparently this runner is has the second fastest run, but it was from 2012. So.
Oh, real talk?
Yeah,
Can you IM that to me? I'm not in there.
sure.
I didn't know there was a leaderboard.
Yeah, it's on Peercast. Let me look.
I didn't know
countdown about
Peercast
it.
had leaderboards, actually.
Me neither.
Yeah, I always looked on, like, Nikonama. That's always where I look, and every time I look there, the leaderboards were bare. There's just nothing there.
Yeah.
Can you guys explain what Peercast is?
It's like a alternate streaming service, right? Japanese streaming service.
Yeah.
Don't go on it. Oh.
From what I gather of it, it's for like people who want to stream, but they don't have like really, really good internet service. So some Japanese streamers use that. Yeah, real talk. If Peercast has a leaderboard, some other stuff I should look on there for too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Countdown's asleep, but maybe Claritonic has it. He's up.
All right, so he's finally to the final boss, and this guy's gonna drop like a fly.
Yeah, this boss is very, very weak. Also going against one of the best combat units in the game.
Literally to a guy who you got a few chapters ago.
Yep.
Just solo some like that. And you know that's his end.
Nope.
Just warp leaf to the throne and then that's game. Let's see if he ends it here. The credits. I actually don't know the time difference of like timing there and using credits.
Is there a reason why the final boss is so easy?
You know what?
There actually is a reason. I believe it's hinted that there was supposed to be a second farm for him, but they probably thought, okay, that's too much. So we're just gonna leave that first farm in what it is.
Ah,
I was always thinking why he didn't have a second.
Yeah, I think it would have been too hard to complete. Maybe. I'm not sure if it would have been too hard to complete.
Too hard? Hey, this game's already a mess.
Yeah, for real. They probably toned it down a little bit. And yeah, somebody brought up that he's the only final boss in this series without a unique class.
Yeah, that is true.
He's very forgettable too. Like,
the only thing I really remember him for is like when he turns Yvel into stone, then he just leaves.
Yeah, looks like they
But yeah, he got through it, completed it. I was starting to get a little worried there on the final chapter though, I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
well, Burton, Maito, thank you both very much for the